Hello friends, Mandar here. I'm back with another video. Today the March 2022 Visa Bulletin is out. I'm pretty sure you must have already seen it, but let me walk you through all the dates in the FB category and EB category, and we'll also look at the trend starting October of last year to this time, how the trend has been in the progress of EB3 dates and EB2 dates, and what can we expect to see in the upcoming months. So if you are interested in this topic, watch this video until the end and let's get started. If you are here for the first time, welcome. My name is Mandar and I make immigration related videos for US and Canada. I'm not an immigration lawyer, so anything that I say on this video or on my channel is for information purpose only. And for your specific immigration needs, before you take any action, you should hire a competent immigration lawyer. So as usual, USCIS की नई picture release हुई है, Visa Bulletin. So let's take a look at it. Now I would like to mention that I have my Patreon site for my contact. So if you have any questions or need my opinion, a lot of you have been contacting me on the Patreon site. But I would also like to mention that it has been a struggle for me to get back to you within a day or two. Sometimes I'm able to get back to you in the same day, but other times it takes 2 to 3 days. So please bear with me if I am not able to get back to you within a day or two. Just send me a reminder again and I can respond to you. So with that said, let's look at the March 2022 Visa Bulletin. Now it came on the 16th of the month, which is not usual, which is right around the average time that they have been posting these Visa Bulletins. Now this March Visa Bulletin will be effective 1st of March, remember. So for the remainder of this month, you will still look at the February 2022 Visa Bulletin. Or if your date is becoming current in the March 2022 Visa Bulletin, you should start gathering your documents to apply for I-485 if you haven't already. So that would be my suggestion. Now as usual, we are going to do the side-by-side comparison of these two Visa Bulletins. The current Visa Bulletin, which is the February 2022 Visa Bulletin, versus the March Visa Bulletin, and let's see what the trends are. So here it is. On the left hand side we have February 2022 Visa Bulletin, which is the current month Visa Bulletin, and on the right we have the March 2022 Visa Bulletin. Now let's first go to the family based category. So as you can see, here are all the family based preferences: F1, F2, F2A, F2B, F3 and F4. So let's look at the final action chart for family based sponsorship visa. So as you can see, there is not going to be a lot of change, but I'm still going to go through it if there is some minor change in any of these categories. So F1 visa for all the countries, the dates are exactly the same. As you can see, December of 2014, December 2014 across, and September 1999 for Mexico and Philippines. So these dates remain the same across the board. There is no change. F2A category is also current. It remains current. So that means there are visa numbers available for F2A category. So if you are wondering what F2A is, it's spouses and children of permanent residents. You can sponsor for them for a permanent residency. So that is what it is. So F2B is also the same across the board. There is no change whatsoever in the final action chart. Let's see, F3 seems like there is no change in the F3 as well, and same thing goes for F4 as well. So there is absolutely no change in the dates for month over month, as we have seen for the last 6 or 7 months. There has been no change in the final action chart for F2 for family based category. We all know the reason why, because there have been a lot of pending applications. So number of applications are exceeding the number of visa availabilities, so they don't need any more applications to be coming in for this category of visa, for family category. So they are not able to progress any dates in this situation. So now let's go and let's look at the filing date chart. This is the chart to be used for family based category all the time. So they don't change to final action date as they do for the employment based category. For FB category, it's always been the filing date chart. So now let's see if there is any minor changes here, which I don't expect, but sometimes we can spot some change. As you can see, for F1 there is no change for any of the countries except Mexico. So you can see it has progressed from February to April for F1. and I would expect the same thing to happen for all the categories for Mexico. So let's keep going. F2A category is the same. No, actually F2A category has progressed. So there is some good news for family based category. So as you can see, it has progressed from October to December for all chargeability, China and India. For Mexico, it has also progressed from October to December, and for Philippines, it has progressed from October to December. So all of them across the board, they have progressed F2A category by 2 months. Now I wouldn't expect any changes in the categories later. F2B, F3 and F4, I am not seeing any changes in any of these dates. So they remain exactly the same up until India. But for Mexico, as you can see, from March to April, it has changed by about a month. And for F3 category for Mexico, it has changed by about 6 months. So from October 2000 to March 2001. And for F4 category, it has also changed almost a year, from 22nd August 99 to 1st of September 2000. So that is a significant jump for F4 category. So there is a trend here. So as you can see, Mexico is progressing a little bit in terms of creating a demand. So USCIS has more number of visas available for Mexican citizens because probably their quota is not being used. So they have to progress those dates to get more additional applicants to use up those additional visa numbers. But for the rest of the world, except for the F2A category, which we are seeing very fast progression, there hasn't been any changes in the last several months, and we expect to see the same trend for the remainder of this fiscal year, until September of 2022. In October, things might change because again the new visa numbers get available and the backlog is kind of cleared in the next several months towards the end of the year. So we should be able to see some progress beyond October. But for now, I don't expect any changes in family based category for the progression of dates. Now let's go to the final action date chart for employment based category. Now here is something that you will see interesting. For EB1 category, it remains the same. So for EB1 category, if you are in the process of green card, there is a good news for you that you don't have any wait time for your priority date to become current. There is always a visa number available as soon as you apply for your application. So that remains current. EB2 category, let's look at China. It has not moved at all, and for India it has moved by about 4 months, from January of 2013 to May of 2013. So this is a good news for India because the final action date is where the USCIS is actually picking up your case to assign you a visa number and actually adjudicate your case. So the closer you are to this particular date, the better of chances that you have to actually get your green card. So that is why this chart is significant. Now it's very good news for EB2 India because the dates have progressed in the final action date chart by about 4 months. So January of 2013 to May of 2013. For EB3, it has all the dates are remain the same for China, but for India, now for EB3, the date remains the same for China and also for India. So date has not changed in the last several months. I'll show you the comparative analysis after this. But the date for EB3 India has not changed at all. For other workers category, it has progressed by about a month. The fourth preference category actually has a retrogress. So you can see March 2019, it has a retrogress to May of 2017 for El Salvador, Guatemala and Honduras. And for Mexico, it has remained the same. Certain religious workers category has become unavailable because they are not taking any applications in that category. Fifth, non-regional center EB5 remains current and regional center category is closed. So that is about the final action chart. Now let's look at the filing chart for employment based category. So EB1, again, it remains current. EB2, the dates have not changed for China, and the date has not changed for India either. So they have kept the filing date chart date same. What it means is this is the date that will be reached by the final action date chart in 8 to 12 months since this date was established. I think it was established last month. So for the last 2 months, if I remember correctly, this date has been same. So I would expect some movement maybe in the future, but typically USCIS sets this date to be met at the end of the year in the final action chart. So not a surprise here that this date hasn't changed. And again for EB3 China and India, it hasn't changed at all. So bit of a disappointment for EB3 India that this date hasn't changed for last 5 months, and that is consistent with what we are seeing with the huge bulk of downgrades that happened in the last 1.5 years. That particular category is really struggling to move forward because there are enough applicants in the pool than the visa numbers available, so they cannot progress the dates. Now if we see the reverse trend catching up from EB3 to EB2, it might create some space in EB3, and that might allow for a little bit of a further progression in the next couple of months, which I am expecting actually. So remember that alert that USCIS had put in, that alert must have caused a lot of upgrades to happen in the last several weeks. It has yet to show its effect, which I believe it will be seen in the next couple of months. But I will not be surprised if in the next 2 or 3 months EB3 starts moving again, and EB2 kind of still continues to move forward, but at a slower pace than what we have seen. Now the last thing that I wanted to kind of check is, so this is the page that helps you understand what is the chart. This is the current month's chart. It says EB category must you data filing chart, and now if you look at it, they have kept it the same for March Visa Bulletin. So in this section, as you can see, they are still continuing to use date of filing chart for March 2022. This is slightly unusual because typically in a year, in October to December, they allow for data filing chart to be used for application of 485, but this is the first time in several years that they are continuing to use filing dates chart for the purpose of application of adjustment of status, even for EB category. Now another thing that I wanted to share is some trend in the Visa Bulletin. So I created this chart, and it has all the dates from October 2021 to March 2022. So for the last 6 months, including March. So if you look at the trend, and I have this for EB1, EB2, EB3, we are not going to look at EB1 because it's been current. But if you look at the EB2 trend, let's look first at the final action chart. So if you look at the final action chart for EB2, here's October at the bottom, and it kind of progresses to March. So for India, if you look, in October, the date was at September 2011, 1st of September 2011. Then it progressed to December, then May, July, January, and now May of 2013. So it has significantly jumped for EB2 India by months in the last couple of months, in the last 6 months itself. So as you can see, it's almost 18 to 20 months of progression in the last 6 months itself. Now same thing has happened for China as well. So they jumped from July of 2018 to March of 2019. So good news for them as well. Now let's look at, so if you look at the filing date chart for EB2 India, you can see they have progressed the filing date chart. So typically what happens is filing date chart is selected on the basis of how many visa numbers are available for that particular year, and that's the date where they set at one point, and then they expect the final action date chart to reach or reach that particular date. So but interestingly, in this year, in this fiscal year, they have been moving this date consistently for a couple of months. So as you can see, they started with the July 2012, then they progressed right away in the next month, in November chart, to January of 2013. Then they kept progressing to July of 2013 in the subsequent month in December. It stayed to July 2013 in January, but then they moved to September of 2013 last month, in the current month of February. And now in March, they have kept it to September 2013. So what can we speculate from here? If the trend continues, which I think is going to slow down for EB3 because EB2 because of these upgrades happening, but I would not be surprised in the next couple of months if they progress this filing dates chart date to say November of 2013 in the next month or two, and even to December or January of 2014 by the end of the September. So that is quite possible, but it depends on how many upgrade applications come into the pool. Now let's look at EB3 situation. So as you can see, the dates haven't really changed since November. So since November we are stuck at January of 2012 for EB3 category. Remember, this was a significant retrogression for EB3 from January 2014 to January of 2012. So 2 years of retrogression for EB3 that had happened early on in the year. Now I don't expect to see any further retrogression. The dates may stall for next couple of months, maybe, or maybe as I was saying earlier, it may pick up again because of these upgrades creating some space or some room in EB3 category. So within the next 2 or 3 months I might expect that these dates will start moving from EB3. So we'll keep an eye on this trend. So let's look at the final action chart quickly for EB3 as well. So final action chart as usual hasn't changed as well. So it has been stuck at January. So it retrogressed from January 2014 to January 2012, and it has been there for that long. So now this puts everybody in an interesting dilemma. The dilemma is, with that USCIS alert, everybody is kind of thinking that whether they should upgrade from EB2 to EB3. Now really the situation is USCIS is still allowing filing date chart to apply for 485. So if your date becomes current in EB2 category in the filing date chart, you should consider upgrading your petition, the downgraded petition, back to upgrade. Okay, so that is going to be my recommendation. But if you are already current in EB3, then there is no need, even if you are current in EB2, to move from EB3 to EB2. The reason is because you have already come further along in your EB3 queue within the pool of applicants that are current. So it is highly possible. It is possible that you might get your green card sooner by remaining in your current EB3 category if your date is current in EB3 than jumping the queue to EB2. So that is just my suggestion. As usual, if you need a personal recommendation from me or personal suggestion from me, what would I do if I were in your shoes, do reach out to me on my Patreon site, and I will be happy to reply back to you. So that's all I really had in this particular video. If you like the content of this video, please hit the like button and consider subscribing to my channel, and I'll see you in the next one.